Hi, I've been talking a lot of gardening online and with my friends lately, and I thought it might be just as easy to make a video to show you some suggestions that I have for organic gardening. I think everybody wants to get in the garden at this time of year, even my chickens, right? We just want to get things growing, but I think a big mistake that people make is they plant too early. And you can plant early, but you just have to plant the right things. So in the garden behind me, I have planted beets and onions and parsley, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, other like winter hardy plants like spinach. As long as my chickens don't eat the seeds, I think we'll be okay. But the one mistake that people make is that they try to put in like peppers and cucumbers and melons too early. And they say things like, oh, my neighbor plants early. But sometimes your neighbor might be just a little closer to the water, have a little more sheltered spot, and that can lead to disappointment.
As you can see, I like tomatoes a little bit more than is normal, and I plant about 30 varieties with all the colors from a light fuzzy apricot one to skinny banana legs, yellows, pinks, and right through to my favorites, which are the black cherry ones and also Amazon chocolate, which is they're very, very strong tomato flavor. I also want to show you a really important tip for replanting in a pot, but also when you plant in your garden. When you have a plant like this, you pinch off the bottom leaves, or you can cut them off if you want. It's kind of hard to do one-handed. And when you plant it, you're going to plant it as deep as you can into the pot or into the garden, and then it will grow roots all along that stem, and it'll give it an advantage for like getting water and also being stronger and healthier, because it'll make like a much stronger stem. Also, an important thing that is important to me is the recycling part. So like I reuse cups all the time. They'll just cross this off and put in rhizotrope grape. But I also use everything that I can find, from mushroom containers and to pots from previous years, or I use something like this as a tray to go underneath. Another really important topic is soil fertility. You can see my chickens are helping out a little bit with turning over the soil, but we compost everything from our garden. We also have the waste from our chicken coop right there. And I do till by hand. I'm trying it this year. I used to do it with a machine, but apparently, according to the organic gardeners, it breaks down the microorganisms and it's a lot healthier to just do it by hand. Okay, so part of the important parts of gardening is the planning part. And my favorite book that I use the most is probably this one by Niki Jabbour. She's in Nova Scotia, and I love her ideas about year-round gardening, but she also breaks down like every single plant and what they need and how to plant them. So for those of you who need that help, it's an amazing book. And of course, I'm obsessed with tomatoes, so a whole book on tomatoes is pretty amazing. It's really the one that got me into planting for all different colors of tomatoes, and really getting into my favorites, which are now like the darks and that. And this book is also really important to me because it's about companion planting. So what plants can go together. And then with Niki's book and the tomato, or this one, I like make my plan every year, and I do rotate my garden every year, and with groups of certain vegetables that go together. I also plan ahead, and I do like the different seeds by the month of when I'm going to plant them. So some things like cucumbers and watermelons and all that, you only plant at the beginning of May because you only want them to have about a month of growth. I also look for amazing varieties of plants, and I found this Heritage Harvest seeds, and I'm planting one that's called Dark Galaxy. It's going to be amazing this year. But overall, this company, Terra Edibles, is by far the best company I have ever experienced. Every seed comes up. It's just amazing. Another bonus tip is banana peels. So I freeze them for months, waiting for planting season. And then when the tomatoes are ready to go in the garden, I thaw them out the night before, put them in a bucket with some water, and I put them at the bottom of the tomato hole. This will make it the sweetest tomatoes. It'll give them the potassium, and it also... Okay, so I was just trying it out, see if try it for something different. Let me know if you find it interesting, fun, helpful. If there's any other questions or something else that somebody might be interested in, we'll see if anybody watches it. See you later. Bye.